Hello there again, you're watching UpFront here on the Joy News channel. My name is Blessed Sogah, and there's no doubt, absolutely no doubt, that illegal mining has ravaged many of our forest reserves and also continues to ravage our water bodies. If you're also worried and perhaps just at the point of giving up, look at the pictures on the screens. Obviously, there's a need for us to be concerned. Not yet, I would say to you this evening, because there's one more attempt by the Minerals Development Fund to try and initiate once more a sustainable mining initiative that will rid all our water bodies of the use of dangerous chemicals, including mercury and cyanide, which are now complicating childbirth and other issues in these mining communities. But what's the strategy, and how soon can we see our water bodies reverse to its original state? That's the source of our conversation here on UpFront with me, Blessed Sogah. And I have the pleasure of introducing you to the woman who's been leading that fight at the Minerals Development Fund, Dr. Hannah Bisu Louisa Kote. I don't know if I mixed it up. I always get to mix it up, but all the same, you forgive me for that. Welcome to our studios, and good to see you again.
Thank you. Good to see you again. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's a long name.
It's a long name indeed. It's always been a long name. But yeah, I'm so happy seeing you today because what we're seeing on our screens is just giving us a sense of how far we've come in terms of the story as a country on the impact of illegal mining. But now you're doing something different, which is very, very, very important. And for many who are eager at listening to this story, you'll be telling us all about it as to how you intend to run a sustainable mining initiative that will tackle all of this crisis head on. And I'm more concerned about riverine communities, because if you take a look at the river bodies, which we'll be putting on the screens right now for our viewers to see the impact of illegal mining on our river bodies, you can clearly see, take a look at that picture on the screens right now, giving you a sense of how the impact has been. Turbidity levels high, and if not, to the thanks of the operations such as NIMOS, you would not have people leaving some of these areas. It's the reason for which I'm interested in hearing this new story also about a sustainable initiative that will, for instance, clean this water body that we're seeing on the screen right now, which is a source of, many reactions, with many in our communities raising concerns and asking the question, when will this all change? And it's the reason for which I want to have this conversation with you, Doc. And what a pleasure again to have you in our studios. You've been on the grounds, and I've followed you in some of these operations already, so I know how much of a work you're doing on that front. But paint the picture to us. You've been to many communities impacted by the activities of illegal mining. Would you say that it is improving now?
I would say that it's improving in terms of awareness creation, because what Mineral Development Fund we seek to do is to, in that aspect of a mandate, to redress, negative impact of mining on the communities and on the people living in these communities, and also research, into mining-related activities and support and promote the sector is part of what we are required to do. So we set up a robust research department or directorate, if you want to put it, and we are always out there. The research, they are always out there, picking soil, taking water samples, and we send it to the lab. In fact, we are putting a scientific, document together. We engage medics to see the impact of these heavy metals on women, on children, and vulnerable. So we go, the thing is, and usually I always go back to my background as a veterinary surgeon. Anytime you're faced with some sort of condition, there are symptoms, so you can decide to deal symptomatically. So you just give something for pain, the pain will go.
Relief or something.
Relief. But the main cause is there. So normally you want to go down and find out what is the main cause and tackle that.
Yeah.
Once you do that, then it will not be like a barrel with some little holes and you keep filling, it's not filling, you keep filling. Yeah. And so the awareness creation is there. And we also have the mandate to enter into strategic partnership. And normally when you talk about strategic partnership, people will always tend to think about making money or something. Our partnership was to partner with local Ghanaians to find solution to the contamination of our water bodies. Because obviously, once people mine responsibly, then, the possibility of contaminating our water by using all this cyanide and all that we see, all the spectures, will not be there.
So we've created that. I was going to say that we've done a number of stories in some of these communities, and you can tell that, in fact, there are reports that people are having childbirth complications and all of that in these communities.
We actually even had, on the Disability Day, we partnered with women living disability in Kumasi, and we had, a doctor coming over to talk to us, and it was horrible. Some of the deformed babies without head, and babies without skull and all that. And so these are things that goes a long way to say that, okay, you are mandated to redress the negative impact that mining has on the communities and the people living in these communities. How do you do that? Okay, so NIMOS and all the other agencies, we effect the arrest. And mind you, we are not even talking about the forest, because we don't go into the forest, but we are within our communities where you find mining happening at the backyard of schools, in front of health centers, behind people's houses. And if I open my phone, you see dead bodies that people actually take. When people die and they bring them out, some snap, some video, and they send to me. So how do you tackle this? So the research team, in partnership with Lion King, which is a Ghanaian, a Ghanaian engineer, 100% Ghanaian, and we realized that we could research and do things together. So we came up
with... you come out with practical means?
With practical means, because we know that it's doable. You can do without using mercury or cyanide, okay? And you can actually...
That question has always come up, that how do we do that? Because these miners would always want to opt for cyanide, mercury. They feel it's the fastest way to get the gold. Is there enough technology, per the conversations you've had with stakeholders, that there is indeed a technology that can clean these river bodies and avoid the use of cyanide?
That is what we came together and we had. That's what was demonstrated out there, to become like a learning center, for capacity building, which is one of our mandates, to help build capacity. Since people will still go back, and mine, let them do it responsibly. Okay, so yes, it's doable. They have the shaking table method and how they can mine. And as you mine, please cover your pit. And please don't mine in the communities. Don't come to the water bodies. That is the only source of water. And sometimes you think you live, let's say, in Accra, so you don't really mind. But remember that Ghana Water is treating a certain water for you to drink.
From another source.
From another source. And it's not taking away the cyanide or the mercury. So it's still the same thing. And when you buy foodstuffs, that is contaminated. And so as they come, one thing that the miner said, came to see us and said, Madam, we want to do the right thing. We just don't know how. So can you help? And that was what actually drove us into this. And as a vet, I'll say again, I usually use the pig. If I should tell you that pigs are the most hygienic animals in the world, you'll not believe me. But they are very resistant. They are strong animals. And so if you give them the right space and you give them where to, when you're hot, you create a little pool for them, and then the drain where they can, defecate and urinate, and where they eat and where they drink water and where they sleep. The pig will never defecate in those places. Where it sleeps, it wouldn't. When it wants to go straight to the drain, if it wants to pee, to do that. Now, if you give the pig a smaller space and you go and you throw the food and whatever it is on the pig, then it will have no choice than to survive. So when the question came, that's what I thought, okay, I called the research team. I said, let's go to work. Let's research. Go out there, pick soil, pick this. So we've done a lot of work. Yes, we did a lot. And then we now partnered. So we went to work to research which Ghanaian can we partner with in terms of engineering, because we have, we came up with something. And we go to Lion King. It's okay, let's partner. Yeah. And once we partner, then you can support the communities, the engineer, once you have what it is, then you can now go to work and partner with those communities.
I'm interested in knowing about the catchment areas and where you are targeting for now, because it appears, if you look at our middle belt all the way to the north, a lot of mining has gone on. So are you targeting some specific communities? How do you intend to?
No, this is going to be like a study case. Okay, so a capacity building center. Okay, and through research and partnership with Lion King. And so other miners from all over can go there and also learn about it, okay, and probably engage the engineer to also go to work and do what was set up there for them. And as they also learn, they can also replicate it elsewhere. That is the whole idea. All that we are saying is that you can do it responsibly without destroying the water bodies, without endangering, the environment. If I tell you I know what goes on in the forest, I'm lying, but I see the pictures. But I can tell you what goes on in and around the communities, in the schools. I can tell you that where we go, some people think it's a forest. No, it's a very communities. And children die. Sometimes on a monthly basis. Elderly people also die. There's a pit behind one house that it killed two young, guys. Then there was one pit that we actually saw the other day, and we're pushing for it to be covered. It's within the community, and it wasn't done. It killed a young boy, and what they did was to send me the picture of that boy when they brought him out. And so for us, some of these things, if we're able to research and find that this can be done, and we can strategically partner with a Ghanaian, because these are small-scale miners, and I'm happy because Nimont was there and they were interested. They took pictures because they wanted to know. It's a very short distance. Yes, you can dig a well, you can dig a borehole, you can create your own dam. You put it in, then you use that water. It's recycled, it goes through filtration and then goes through a centrifuge. And it comes out clean like nothing.
Because I was watching the report and many are asking how this technology works. So what briefing have you been giving on that? Is it the case that the water they would use now will come out cleaner? What briefing do you have on this technology and how it works?
Well, now we've taken samples of, because it's underground water. Right. That is being pumped into a dam. Then they do the recycling of the same water. They don't let it go into any water body. No, and they are not also using any form of chemical. In fact, when you finish, we encourage you that when you finish, just cover up. Apart from that, now that they've set up, they can also employ. The community is just a stone throw away. You can just walk from there to the site. So they can employ them. They say they can operate 24 hours. So the 24-hour economy is going to be there. And we are saying that you can do it well. And it can economically empower these people living in these mining communities. And it can also, help us improve our health and also the environment. So this initiative is to tell ourselves and everybody that the change of mindset is very important. I heard the president, when he went to Impact and he spoke about, change and he spoke about reset. If we're able to reset our minds as Ghanaians, we can do it, and we can do it well. And when we reset and know we can do it, then we can discourage ourselves from bringing in foreigners. Because you see, the foreigner, when he comes, he's not interested in your water body because they come and they drink their own water. You see some of these foreigners, even the food they eat is from their country. They don't actually They don't eat our food. They don't drink our water. They bring everything in, but they come to destroy your water. So we are saying that, yes, Ghanaians can do it. So we had to do that research and give it out
with the homegrown solution.
To the homegrown. Yeah.
I'm interested in the economic empowerment a bit because some experts have done further work pointing out that, look, if we are able to give alternative jobs to these people in some of the mining communities, partly we may be dealing with a crisis. What initiatives in terms of plans do you have for some of these communities where, of course, mining is still ongoing? They wouldn't go into farming because they feel it's not rewarding enough. How do we find them more lucrative?
Well, some of them actually do go into farming. Right. But what happens is that some of these illegal miners, they threaten them. And so some plant and they never go back. And so that is the other thing. So for the farming, we are moving into, the Nkoko Nketenkete project of President John Dramani Mahama. And we'll be supporting farmers, and community people to also, government or Ministry of Agri can do so much. They can't do it for everybody. So we can also support in that aspect. Aside that, we have other training, initiatives that we are training some of these living in these mining communities in mining-related programs, so that they can go back and get jobs in some of these well-set-up mining sites and in some of the big companies that we are talking to, so that they can support them. We also are seeking that some of these trainees, there are jobs that they can get outside. There's one that when they finish, Akwameya is putting up a drone center to train young ones in drone building and piloting, for agricultural purposes, and also to supervise some of these mining sites. If you have a mining site and a drone can come and do a good job for you, you employed a young man. So we are seeking to train over a period of 3 years, about 5,000 of these ones. And there are job opportunities for them with the Feed Ghana, for instance, because they'll be using drone, in spraying some of the crops and planting, throwing seedlings and all that. Yeah. And then there's also a job opportunity for them in Europe, Germany, in the agriculture sector. So these are some we are seeking to also partner with a garment sewing, company. Yeah. It's also a Ghanaian in the Western region, and they will be training our guys how to put together this the garment PPEs for mining. Anglo Gold also trains young ones in the building of some of this mining.
One of the striking images I saw, I think it was somewhere last year or this year, was the video of some women even in the mining pits. I'm asking you particularly about women because, of course, you double as the women's organizer of the NDC. So there's particular concern about women and what the plan is for women, because women are now going into the pits themselves.
Women are going into the pit just as the men are going into the pit.
Okay.
So
gender equality there.
It's about mining. It's about creating alternatives. It's about making mining communities safe for women and for children, for the vulnerable, people living disability. It's about that. And so every program that we put together, we take into consideration a high level of women involvement. So if you are going to train, I'm pushing, and I'm not going to say 70, 30, that is for government to do. But when we go into a community, we want to start off with a 50-50, unless we don't have the women to train, okay? And we want women to be interested in, if it's about driving an excavator, why not? If it's about building, so when I talk to the young ones, that's why I encourage them to, challenge the status quo. So for that one, yes, we are supporting in education also and encouraging them to, to love to go to school. Obviously, they think, and you see this, the amount of work they put in to get some little gold, I don't know how much it costs, obviously, but I know that they have, I'm looking at this picture and I can tell you, because one of those sites, it wasn't the site, it was in the community, that we saw something they said they call black. I didn't even know what was that. They said, okay, is a leftover or whatever. And I said, so how do you do this? The kind of work they put in and the amount of mercury that they inhale. Some of them, they bite the mercury and it causes, exactly. So for us, the women are going out there because they need an alternative. But remember that when the person thinks that he can get 100 cedis and the alternative you are giving them is not rewarding, they won't go. So we are looking for attractive alternative that they'll say, yes, we are choosing this. Away from that, now let's research how we can properly support through our research some of these small-scale miners to do a proper setup so that the nearby communities can benefit from employment. That way, then we know their lives will not be endangered. That way, then we know that the children will not run from school to go into any pit. That way, then we know that this miner will not run from there and come to the community and mine within in the community and around our hospitals and the schools. So every empowerment initiative that we are putting in, we are picking the 50-50 and want to make sure and want to make sure that people living disability are also well represented.
Let's not lose sight of the traditional authorities, the chiefs. Initially, there was this whole debate about the chiefs as to complicity and whether or not some of them were even involved in illegal mining in the first place. That has come up a lot of times. But is that giving you more suspicion as to how you deal with them in the communities? Not at all. Not at all. The chiefs are our first point of call. You know, when we go into any community, we involve, you know, we talk to the security, to the rep of MINCOM, the rep of EPA, you know, we make sure that everybody's represented. Then we go to Nana, the chief. You see, they are the first people to be accused, whether true or not. You know, it's easy to point fingers at them, you know, but at this point, they don't give licenses. But to me, in charge of MDF, my interest is not whether somebody has a license or not. My interest is what you are doing to the community, the environment. Some of these communities are sometimes terrorized, including the chiefs. When we went to Atiwa, I don't know whether it's Atiwa West or something. It's from. They should pardon me if I'm always finding it difficult to mention the name of that community. And there's a STEM school, that place, a child had died playing, you know, at the backyard because there was a pit. There were 3 pits within the community. And the child fell in, 7 years old, he died. So we went there to go and see the family and to encourage them. Also sensitize, that's what we do, try to talk to the communities, educate them. And then the DCE said, let's go to the STEM school. Students were not going to school anymore because the miners are taking over the school park and were mining directly behind this STEM school. And the chief came. The chief said when he was passing, he saw that he didn't want to come there and he heard it was us. So he came and he said, they almost beat him up. And we've been to a community where the chief said he doesn't want to be chief anymore because there's nobody speaking out for them. Because it's easy to say that it's a community, but it should surprise you to know that the people living in these communities, they are not those involved in the illegal mining. The only thing some of them do, I call them local few, is to also go and do some small labor work. They do all the dangerous work so that somebody will get a good and they can get something small. Some of them we've encouraged, and the last time we went to Atatem, he's still out of it. He just said we are going to put him into training and we are going to follow up. And once you finish with him, he can go back to the community and tell the good story so that others will know that, yes, we can do something different. But of course, if the person has mining site and they want to mine, why don't you help support with the research that you've done so that they can have the right setup? And that's all we did. That's the initiative. That's all. So it becomes a learning center for capacity building. So now, if even we want to build capacity of some of our mining communities, we can take them to that site and tell them that, look, this is an initiative that we brought, the system in place is from us, so we are bringing
one or two people to, to come learn about this. And the information that I've had is a group of miners. I think next we could be going there to go study the system and engage the engineer and also have a good setup. If we're able to do that, if a lot of them are able to do that, trust me, you'll not be seeing this. They go close to the water because they want water. But there's an alternative. They use mercury and cyanide because that's all that they know. That's why I said, Madam, we want to do the right thing, but we don't know how. So that is what actually encouraged us to look for the how, because at the end of the day, these are also people who live in these mining communities. And at the end of the day, you and I probably can buy some of this bottled water. What about them? If you see some of the waters that some of them drink, and if you're not careful, you may drill a borehole and you find mercury in the underground water because the contamination has gone that deep. Then what next? And so this initiative is something that we came up, and I say kudos to our research team, kudos to management. They've done well, and kudos to Lion King.
How do you respond to the criticism that, we're treating these small-scale miners with kids' gloves? Of course, we're not hitting them hard, and that when you come out with some of these forms of technology, you're going to be empowering them to do illegal mining some more. I'm sure that some people have even walked up to you to tell you that, well, we better be careful, else we'll be empowering the small-scale miners. No,
but these are people who have been given license to mine. They've been given license to mine. So that side, they are legal.
Right.
Because if you come and you say, okay, we need you to help us do this setup on our site, the technological know-how, and we direct you to the engineer. Yes, they have their site. Okay, so it's not encouraging them. I don't think these small-scale miners, illegal. The president said they are not the enemies of the state.
Right.
The state doesn't hate them. No, these are Ghanaians. They are Ghanaians, right? They are doing the wrong thing. And most of the time, those behind them, you have a lot of Chinese, and they come through our borders. And they put in money, and because these ones they don't have, they give up. And these Chinese take over, and they protect the Chinese because that's where they get small monies. But now they know that they have their sites, they have their document, they are legal, they can have a proper setup, that they don't need this foreigner to come and abuse them anyhow and destroy their water bodies. I think that it will work, it will help. And since the mining, proper, let's say Newmont, let me use Newmont or Anglo Gold or any of these mining companies, they employ people, and sometimes they block off some of their mining site for the community, to mine. So if the community is doing this job and they have a proper setup, they won't go to our river bodies or the forest, and they'll be able to operate, in this case, 24-hour, there's a 12-hourly, so 2 shifts, and they'll still be protecting our water body. They'll be building capacity also, and some of these guys can come and train and get jobs on other mining sites, which will be far cheaper for us. And they can go and even change the mindset of other, they know the miners more than we do. So it's not by any means, empowering them. I think there's been enough of, they've been brute force, getting them and getting the Chinese. Remember that some of these foreigners, once they know there's heat, they go to their country. And that's what I've been telling the Ghanaians, that they leave us and then we stay here. So they leave you with your contaminated water. They leave you with your destroyed forests and what have you. So it's not empowering them. It's changing our mindset to do the right thing. All other countries, they mine. But the difference with Ghana is that they do the right thing and we do the wrong thing.
We're having a conversation with the administrator of the Minerals Development Fund here on UPfront. When we get back, we'll have a conversation about the large-scale mining companies. What level of bedding are they taking in reversing all of the impacts of mining on our communities? We'll talk about that when we get back. Please stay. And thanks for staying with us. We've heard the story about the technology, but how about some other stakeholders in the mining sector? The large mining scale companies, the bigger ones. The question as to what they do. CSR, the corporate social responsibility, is often the rhetoric from some of these large multinational mining companies. But are they really supporting the recovery process in our communities? That's another question facing the MDF now. And Doc, you might want to tackle that for us. Yeah, all the companies, the big ones, we see them going into some of the communities. Sometimes it's water or bags of rice. And that's it in terms of corporate social responsibility. But are you planning on some bigger, collaborations, partnerships to do a lot more work in reclaiming or perhaps doing something else in supporting this community?
We actually... we've started the approach, I'm talking to some of them to support the communities. Because usually we hear of huge sums of monies that have gone into CSR.
Yeah.
And I've always been saying that building a toilet for a community is nothing. That is not going to change them. That is not going to educate them. It's not going to empower them. It's a necessity, yes. But is it the fault of mining that they don't have a toilet? No. So if you look at the impact, health, education, and many more, water, even the quality of food and all that. So if we're going to produce quality of food, what system am I going to put in place? Yeah. Now we have the feed Ghana. So if you are here, what can we do together so that these communities can also benefit? What can we do together so that these communities can benefit from proper school? Yeah. They can benefit from proper market setup. They can benefit from, for good roads and what have you. Let's say, we came up with this polluter pay principle. When we went and found out that people die in the pit, yeah. But those who dug the pit, they're gone. They don't care. Yeah. They don't care. So it doesn't matter. And it's very expensive to cover these pits. Government cannot, it's even unfair, okay, that you go and you destroy, you take the money, and you expect government to cough up, to come and cover the destruction that you caused. So once we know you, we will pursue you, we will chase you to come and do the right thing. And by the grace of God, there's been a lot of these pits that we saw in the community that have been covered by those who destroy, those who created those pits. They are doing it and they are planting. There's an NGO, Logist, for instance. We've entered into partnership with Logist, and they are into tree planting. So if you don't have, we send Logist as you do. They come and they also do the planting, so that we can have a proper environment.
So how do you identify the companies then? How do you engage them to reclaim and also in some cases do?
Because when you go to the communities, yeah. They know who is behind what. That's how come we get the information. They know who dug which pit, behind whose house. They know. And so they are those who lead us. And usually the main person is in a big city. I don't want to mention the name of any city. The main person is in a big city. So usually our interest is always in looking for the main person, because you to the chunk of the money. So that's where our interest lies. So we go and we approach them and we make our case, and they always come out, and now it's been done. So I can tell you that we have close to about 500 acres that they have covered a pit, and we are encouraging the tree planting now. It's part of trying redressing that negative impact, in and around our communities. For the big mining companies, I remember when we were going to hold have our stakeholders meeting. Yeah. And we actually wrote to them. None of them supported us. None did. Because normally they'll tell you they pay royalties. And obviously they did not create these pits. But what we are telling them is that you have issues on your site. If you support us, support these communities, that menace will not be there anymore. So support us. If you say you use 20 million, I heard it, one of them, I'll not mention the name, went for a conference in Canada, and they were there, and they gave a beautiful report of 20 million. They showed some 2 schools and what have you. When they finished, I went there and I said, look, I bet you that if you should go to Australia next year, you show these same pictures and you say the same thing. So if you said you use 20 million, just give me 10 million US dollars and I'll create a paradise for these communities with your $10 million. And you can keep your 10 million if that is what you want. But don't tell me you went and built a toilet for the community. So
a borehole or something.
One borehole. Set up a whole small town community water system. Set it up, and then let's have a water board. Then we know you've done something. Put up a proper market. Put up a mall, something that will generate economic activities for them. Put up some study centers, some training centers, something. Then we know that we are doing something for them. But as for the toilet, if you go to any community that they don't have, and you ask them, it will be the first thing they'll tell you, because they don't want to get up in the middle of the night and go to any bush. So that one is there. But is that what is going to give them good drinking water? No. Is that what is going to take them out of the dangers of, consuming mercury and cyanide? No. So what is the real solution? The real solution is that what we have done, the initiative, we partner, let them now go learn to do it properly so that the water bodies, be safe. Now, with the big mining companies, we are saying that we have been going, and looking for the people who have caused these damages. I call them environmental terrorists because you are terrorists to the environment, and they are covering. So we need support. You don't have to even give me the money. Let's sit down and talk. Let me tell you that I have capacity to, let's say, build up to this stage. Can you continue? Yeah. If you can, then we put our forces together. So I bring my part, you bring your part. But it looks like we are still talking, and we are sure that as initiatives are taken, and they see, the improvement, I'm sure they'll come on board. But as I speak, the pits that are lying there, the big mining companies, I don't think it's part of it.
What plans do you have for reclamation? Do you have any elaborate plan on that?
No, we don't do reclamation, as we don't. It's not part of us. But yes, if you dig a pit or you dug a pit, we will come after you to go cover it up, so that nobody falls in the pit and die at your own cost. And I use that term, for instance. I mean, how can you go behind a school and you've dug so deep the school was hanging? And this is from KG to junior high. So we went after the person. Come cover up. Because we are not going to do it. They want water. They want this, they wonder, how do we give water to such a community? Because the 2 rivers that they were drinking from, you've mined in these rivers. And so they didn't have any good drinking water anymore. Then it becomes a burden on government to cover the pit to make sure, the community natives are safe, and also to provide water. Then you have come to take the gold away. For that one, we come after you. Yeah. That one, yes, we will. And so we don't have, the only plan we have is the polluter pay principle.
Policy, yeah.
And
if you destroy, you pay.
You destroy, you pay. You pay by covering it yourself, and we will monitor, we will research. After that, we pick soil, and then we will determine that, okay, this is what you plant. That's if it's a tree that you plant and you absorb the heavy metals, let's do so. But that is the plan that we have.
You were talking about the royalties earlier, where some of the bigger companies are telling you, well, we pay to the central government. Next week, we understand, will be Appropriations Week. Obviously, we're seeing some releases that will be happening to your organization as well. Would you say that you have enough funds, or would you want us to revise you know, the sources of your royalties, increases the margin a bit so you can do a bit more work?
Obviously, if you ask me, I'll tell you that, you know, I want 50%. I want 50% so that the chiefs will get, and then the other agencies, and then some will be left for us to go into, you know, bigger development of our communities. Sometimes I dream of mining communities that look like cities, because that is where the gold comes from. I sometimes I sit and I imagine how those communities could be. But, and again, with the level of distraction, if even government should give us 100% royalties, will we be able to handle it? No. That's why we are engaging, you know, we are engaging those.
But what would you prefer? That we increase the amount to your organization, or we increase it for the local community? How would you, what approach?
No, you know, the amount, once you increase the amount to my organization.
Obviously.
Yes, obviously, you know, the communities will also get more. Because if you should increase and you say, okay, we are giving you 40% of royalties, it's a bigger chunk, you know, and a lot more money will come. So if we are pushing, let's say, 20% or 30% towards the development of the communities, and then others will go to other side, because 50% is for students, another side, then it means that we can do much more, because then the volumes will be bigger, because 40% and 20%, obviously, they are different. You know, so we will want that, yes, the increase. But again, I think that the problems are
enormous.
Enormous. You know, we have huge, you know, situation at hand that we have to look for other, you know, smart way of solving the problems, whilst we supplement, or if even government monies is a main, how we supplement with smart decisions and with smart things that will resolve the problem without putting any financial burden on government. One of it is a PPP, because the person, obviously, you have the money, so come and correct what you have destroyed. That's all that we are doing. And now some of them, we are pushing them to provide good drinking water for the communities. You know, provide school. The school that they went and dug behind, we are pushing the guy. You build another one, and you know, you cover up and make sure that the students are okay. So we are pushing for some of those things. And even the communities, the best way that you can do to probably, you know, put up some good structures for them. You know, it's possible. We can do that.
The reason why I was asking was because I was taking a look at some of the focal communities where you operate, and it comes down to 32 districts, correct, or more?
No, it's the local management committees.
Right. Because the argument is that the impact of the mining is going way beyond this catchment area, and that you need more.
It's all over.
It's more resources to tackle that.
It's all over. It's all over. It's all over. It's all over. And that is the scary part. So what I'm saying is that government can give us the 100% royalties, but it can't. It's just like a woman in a house. You give birth to 6 children, and very soon you become the minority. Because if the children decide there's the mother and a child.
More resources.
Exactly, you understand me. And so we need more resources, yes, but we need to also be more responsible towards our environment and what we do. You know, that's why we said we have to have a multifaceted approach to this issue. You know, you're doing the wrong thing, then you know, you'll be apprehended by the law. You'll be arrested, you put before court, and what have you, and the law takes its course. But you also took it, come and cover up, pay for the cost of the restoration of the environment. You know, so these are some of the things that we are looking at, and obviously, out of that the miner came and said, we want to do the right thing, madam, but we don't know how. That's how come we went to work, and I must give thumbs up. And you know, you give credit to where credit is due. I think that the research team, they've done very good job, well, and they're doing good jobs.
Okay, we need to go, but if there's a message you're leaving with these rural communities impacted by activities of illegal mining, and perhaps if you want to speak directly to these small-scale miners, what message would you want to leave us with? Well,
I want to tell, first of all, to our small-scale miners. The league, as the president said, we are not against small-scale miners. As a matter of fact, think that you feed the nation with what you produce. But what we are against is the irresponsible mining. And we are saying that you can mine responsibly. That's why, our research team, our research department, together with Lion King, we've come up with this, initiative that, yes, you can do it, can mine responsibly. And remember that if you've ever dug a pit and you took away the mineral resource from it, go back and cover your pit. Remember, the safety of one Ghanaian is a burden on all of us. And to the mining communities, we are with you, we stand with you. Mineral Development Fund represents your voice. And to our chiefs, we respect you, you are revered traditional and rulers in these communities. And together we can build better mining communities. Right. And we can mine responsibly. Indeed. For the safety of us. So we say green Ghana, let's green our nation to secure our future.
And here at Joy News, the message is simple. We say no to illegal mining, and we're urging you to be responsible as well as you watchers. You've just heard from the administrator of the Minerals Development Fund, Dr. Louisa Hannah Visu-Kote.
Okay, so Dr. Hannah Louisa Visu-Kote. You see, it's very...
Yeah, it's that simple.
You need some
on that.
Akple with some bobotaji.
I'll come for that. But it's been great talking to you. That's all time will allow us here for UPfront here on the Joy News channel. I am Blessed Sogah. Until then, log on to myjoyonline.com for more stories. Thanks for watching. See you again. Bye-bye.